Okay, so we have a really good app that I want to teach you a little bit about it. It's called FltPlan Go. It also, we can find it on iPad, iOS, or on Android. They also have a website called justflightplan.com, and you can use pretty much the same things all over the place. It's a really good app. It shows us all the maps that we need to have. It also shows us all the CFSs and airports that we need to have. It's generally good just to have it on the ground, to plan a little bit, to play with a little bit with the map, to check the CFSs and see all the airports. Also, it can be really useful in the air if you have some emergency, we got lost, for instance, and we can't figure out how to use the GPS or don't have a GPS on the airplane. So we can use this app. It's a really good one. So just download it and then open it. Once you open it, first thing that I want you to do before you do anything, go to Downloads. In Downloads, let it refresh a little bit. I'm still waiting. I'm going to press the skip button in 2 seconds if it doesn't do that. It did it. You just need to threaten it. Okay, so under Maps, I want you to just to download a minimum to download all the sectional, which is VNCs. So you can see here, if you go to Canada, you see all the VNCs. You can download all of them or just the relevant ones. And under TAC, which is VTAs, you can see here, we have just a few couple of VTAs here, Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, and a couple of on the west side. You can also download all of them or just the one that you need. You also can download, for instance, Victor Low, which is for IFR, but it's good maps because they have some additional information that we can't have on the VNC. We don't see it there, or a little bit hard to see on the VNC. I also recommend you to download it, and I recommend you to play with it a little bit, to have a look at it. Then in procedures, you're going down and download procedures for Canada. I don't know exactly what's the difference between current edition and feature edition, just download both of them. Documents, you can download lots of documents. For us, it's especially useful, all the CFS additional information that we have there. We can download that too. Under AFD, we can download the whole CFS here, as you can see, which is going to give us all the airports. Under MISC, we can download all this 3 stuff, airport database, FBO icons, and airport diagrams. Download all of them. Make sure that you have them all. Then we go to Maps. Go to Maps. And you can see that you have this small thing that you can drag up and down. It's just our menu. So we're going to Maps. And the first thing we do on Maps, we go to Setting and make sure that downloaded maps only is toggled. We don't want to have a situation where we are flying in the air, we don't have the maps. Because if we plan on the ground, we want to make sure that what we are planning on the ground is already inside the device, and we don't need to have internet connection to keep it. So make sure that it's always on the ground, and in the air, it's always toggled on. Then we also can toggle the breadcrumbs, which is just going to give us some history about our flight, just where we flew. Make sure you toggle it on before your flight. And if you want to save it, make sure you're saving it before you're closing the app, because otherwise it's not going to be saved. So here we can see we have the VNC map. If you look here at Toronto, for instance, and start zooming in a little bit, whoop, it became VTA. So you can see that VTA gives us more information, like frequencies and altitudes in the terminal. But once we zoom out, it's going to become VNC. Okay? And this, of course, is Brampton right here. Now, you have this toggle here, not this one. It's really hard to, this thing, which is going to give us a couple of more information, more stuff, altitude, and speed, and magnetic course, which is also really good. And we can slide it back there. Okay, we can add plans. We can add flights, for instance, from here to here. We can add all this stuff and make a flight plan for us. You can go here at the top and add routes and remove routes. If we go to layers, we're going to see in layers all the maps that we have. I chose tax because it's going to give me VTA. It means that if I'm zoomed in, it's going to give me VTA. And if I'm zoomed out, it's going to give me the sectional, or in our case, VNCs. If I go to airports on the left side, press on airports, I can see some airports. Here it's Sudbury, because I used to fly for Sudbury. I can press Muskoka, or just add CYQA, of course. And it's going to give me this information. We're going to have lots of information about the airport. We have some information about this stuff, frequencies, runways, procedures. It's for IFR. The weather, we can add, we can have meter. We can have also NOTAMs here. It's hiding here. And what type of fuel, how much it costs, and remarks. If you go to airport diagram at the top right, you're going to get a nice diagram of the airport. It's more detailed than CFS. And we can see here that we have this runway, and on the south side we have the terminal building, which this is where we get the stamps. Apron 1 or I, depends how you see it. It's supposed to be 1. And here we are going to park the airplane and get the stamp, and maybe if they have coffee, you're going to drink coffee. Then if we go back, we can open the CFS. And the CFS is exactly the same CFS that we have in our book, in the thick book of the CFS. You can see here it's in Ontario. We can see the dates at the top. We can see that it's Muskoka, Ontario. It's exactly the name and the place. They are the same ones. If the name of the airport and the name of the town that is nearby is different, we are going to see 2 names. We can see the code. And we can see the diagram, which shows us the elevation, the runways, the length of the runways. You can see the OCC, the altitude obstacles. We can see the control zone E. We can see that it's 5 nautical miles radius and goes up to 3,900, which technically means that at 4,000, if you pass it at 4,000, you don't need to talk to anyone, even that it could be a little bit nice just to let them know that you are coming. Okay, here in the ref at the top, we can see the GPS of the airport. We can see how it's relative to the town for nautical miles south. We can see the campus. Okay, it means that we need to add 11 to our true heading to get our magnetic heading. You can see UTC, which means in the winter it's going to be -5, in the summer it's -4. Elevation 918, exactly like in a diagram. A5000, it means it's a VNC map air 5000. Low 6 means that it's low map number 6 for IFR. High 5, which is funny, high 5. It's going to be a high map for IFR number 5, and cap it's Canada Air Pilot, I think, something like that. I already forgot, to be honest. The operator is going to be District Municipality of Muskoka. This is the phone number. If you have any questions for them, for fuel, food, where to park the airplane, where to do the run-ups, all this stuff, just call them and ask them, and they are certified. It means that the aerodrome is certified. It means it's an airport. PF is public facilities. You can see at the bottom, at the beginning of the CFS, all the information about it, what it means exactly, A1, C2, C3. Customs, we don't care about it right now. Flight plan, we also don't care because we're just going to call to London and ask them to file the flight plan and cancel it. It gives us, it also tells us that we have meter and TAF there, and it's also going to tell us that the times that we can going to get it, and that they have a camera there. Services, what we care about the services is that they have fuel, 100 low lead. This is what we need to have. And also they had Jet A. It means that we need to make sure that what we are getting is going to be 100 low lead and not Jet A. They have different size for their fuel pipes, but still it could happen, and happens sometimes, and it's dangerous because we are going to have engine failure right after takeoff. Oil, they have all the oils. Good, it means that if we are missing some stuff, we can get it there. Runway data, runway 18 is really 181, runway 36 is really 001, 6,000 feet long, 150 feet wide, it's asphalt. Threshold 18 is displaced 800 feet. What does it mean? Let's go to 18. Okay, it's displaced. You can see from runway 18 that we have a line south of it, like an empty line. It means that we have an obstacle on the north side of the runway, and they recommend us to land after the displaced threshold. Then it's going to give us a nice approach, probably around 3 degrees of an approach. If we want to land before that, north of this line, north of the displaced threshold, it's our responsibility to make sure that we are cleared and we are not going to clip the trees on the north. It's especially important for IFR or for night flights when we can't see the stuff, we can't see the trees. So we want to make sure that we are going to land after the displaced threshold. What else can we have here? We have some information about the taxiways. It just means that the sizes of airplanes that they can taxi on these taxiways or not. For us, it doesn't matter because we are really small. Lighting, what type of lighting we have for runway 18, for 36. You can check all this information at the beginning of the CFS. It can tell you exactly what it means. ARCL, it means that we can turn on the lights using our radio, on radio of 122.3, which is the main radio anyways. And it's type K. It means that we need to click 7 times at the beginning, and then 3, 5, or 7. Depends on the intensity that we want to have. COM is communication. We have RCO. Okay, RCO, remote communication outlet. It means that we are going to talk to Timmins radio, which is really far away from Muskoka. But Timmins radio, they have an antenna right in Muskoka. Okay, so when we are going to talk to Muskoka, we're really going to talk to Timmins radio. And we're going to tell them, Timmins radio. That's the only way that they're going to hear us. And we're going to tell them that we are flying to Muskoka. And it's going to be on 122.3. We also have London radio. We have it, flight information service on route on 123.475. It means if we have any questions, we can ask them on route because they also have an antenna there. And they're going to broadcast generally to everyone on 126.7 if they have something important to say. MF just means that when the RCO is not open, when Timmins is not open, we have also an MF there. It's the whole thing is MF, it's mandatory frequency. It means that we have to report all our intentions. If they have Timmins there, or if there is no one there, we still have to state clearly what our intentions and what we're going to do. Remember that RCO or FSS, which FSS is in Timmins, they don't control us. They're not controllers. They just ask us what we want to do. We tell them what we want to do, and they give us some recommendations. They can tell us some recommendations about the runway, some obstacles, or some other traffic, but they cannot tell us what to do. So we're going to tell them we are going to land on this and this runway using this and this, going from downwind or whatever. And then they're going to tell us, okay, report on final, or report after takeoff, or report after departing the circuit, or report after exiting the control zone. That's the only thing they can do. They can't tell us what to do. AWOS, it's an automatic weather observation system. I think this is the initial, so I always get confused with that. Bottom line, it's just an automatic system that tells us the weather in Muskoka or anywhere. Okay, it's going to be on 124.575. And when we are going to contact Timmins the first time, they're going to ask us, did you check the weather? Did you listen to AWOS? And we are going to tell them yes. The way that we're going to tell them that, we're going to tell them at the beginning that we are with the numbers. And that way they're going to know that we have all the information. Okay, caution is just some extra information. For instance, we have 100 AGL trees approximately 2,000 feet behind threshold 36. We need to pay attention to them. And we can have PRO, which is procedure. We don't have it here, but then it can tell us, for instance, it's going to be right-hand circuit, not left one. Or it's going to be, instead of 1,000 feet above the ground, it's going to be 700 feet above the ground circuit. Or any other stuff that we need to know. And that's it. It has some more stuff here on the left side. I'm going to let you check it. You can have the binder here, which also really useful. You can add some information. For instance, I added here the VTA back of Toronto because I want to make sure that I remember the frequencies here and exactly what's the boundaries of the CFA. This is, by the way, how you find our frequency in the practice area. And you can see, for instance, that when we fly to the area of Perry, it's going to be a different one. It's going to be CFA number 1, which is 122.9. And when we fly to Niagara Falls, again, it's going to be a different one, 122.925. Okay, so you can put in the binder lots of information, very useful. You can put legends, for instance, if you don't remember exactly what to do. That's it. If you have any questions, let me know. I will add more videos just to save some time and money for us. And that's it. Bye-bye.